All right. So there is a form 15807A. You aware of that form?
I am.
Okay. Is that uh okay, and it says here that's the form that initiates the investigation by your office, right?
Yes, we don't fill it out typically.
Okay. And then in terms of the actual document that you're preparing, it's essentially this entire packet here, um, the investigation packet. Is that right?
Yes, most of it.
Okay. There's also a summary of the investigation. Isn't that true?
Correct.
Okay. Who prepares that?
The investigators who are assigned to the case.
Okay. So that means your office, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And that would be a 15807D. Is that the name of that form?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, in Sue Novak's case, do you know who wrote this form?
I believe it was Joe Sonnenberg.
Okay. And he did so under your direction, right?
Yes.
Did you review the form prior to him to it being submitted?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was it correct and accurate at that time?
Um, I don't recall if I made any changes to it, but it was correct and accurate when it was submitted.
Okay. And you submitted it, right?
I did.
Okay. And that was like by actually clicking buttons and sending it to somebody or something else?
I don't recall if I sent it via email. I believe in this case I may have uploaded it to a shared drive just due to the large amount of evidence.
Okay. And so that document is going to have the potential work rule violations on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Judge, we're going to go back to Exhibit 12, please.
All right, Mr. Cross, I have myself on mute. I asked you, is there going to be a break time? Because it's
Anytime,
12:18.
anytime.
Well, I don't want to break up your flow. So is there a way in which we can get?
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. I think they're fine. I think we're pretty close. I was saying 45 minutes and I had 12 on that, so I think we're pretty close. 12:30 is
Okay.
when I'm
I
in.
just, don't want to go too long for the recording or for anybody else's comfort, okay?
Oh,
All
yeah,
right, let's
no
get
problem.
to this document.
But I'm always flexible, Judge, anytime. Okay. So,
1 second, I'm doing the sharing.
great. And it's 30 pages into it past the header.
Okay, so we'll go back to the beginning. Do you know what the beginning page of Response Exhibit 12 is?
Mr. Novak.
I'm sorry, Judge, could you repeat that?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I thought you were speaking to me. If you were, could you repeat it? If not,
I'm looking for the first page because Mr. Cross is asking me to go to 30
Okay, I
pages
apologize.
in. Okay. 152 is what I have on my exhibit list for the beginning of this document. Let's see. All right, so that's the beginning. And then you want 30 pages, so that would be 182. Is that what you're looking at, Mr. Cross?
Right. And the top of that document starts with summary of investigative findings.
So this says 15807D. That's the document you were referring to,
Yes.
Ms. Preston. Well, that's Ms. Preston. You had said that. That's a document you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then we're good with that, and we're on page 182, response exhibit 12. Go ahead, please.
Right. And I'm sure you know this better than I, but we'll all try to make an attempt not to identify any inmates as best we can.
Okay.
Okay, great. So this is the document that you reviewed prior to sending it to the division administrator, right?
Yes, it appears to be.
Okay. So I'm going to go down one page here. And this is the top of that page. It says Warden Novak stated she was told by Deputy Warden Lucas. Do you see that part?
Yes.
Okay, we're on page 183.
And then it says specifically the stun fence were installed incorrectly when she arrived at CCI as warden in August of 2018. She stated that no CCI staff brought up the fence or suggested improvements to the fence during budget meetings. Warden Novak stated she had no knowledge of any other issues with the perimeter fence. When asked if it was something she could have inquired about, she stated the fence was installed in 1986 and it was never a concern to any of the previous wardens. Did I read that part right?
Yes.
Okay. Is what she, based on your knowledge and experience of the after action report and security audit, isn't it true what Warden Novak said about this fence being installed in 1986 and was not a concern to any of the previous wardens?
I don't know. I don't know exactly the date it was installed, and I don't know if it was a concern. I just know that's what she appeared to have said.
Oh, okay. Well, so then what did, are you aware of whether or not Internal Affairs contacted former Warden Dittman?
No.
Objection relevance.
Sorry.
I'm going to allow, go ahead.
No, I don't believe we did.
No, and if you had, it would have been contained in this packet, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And the security audit, is that contained in this packet?
I believe it is, but I would have to review the evidence to make sure.
Okay. But so there's no statement in this paragraph, in this summation that you reviewed, that says that her statement was accurate, is there?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. This statement, it says Warden Novak stated she had no knowledge of any other issues with the perimeter fence, and when asked if it was something she could have inquired about, she stated the fence was installed in 1986 and it was never a concern to any of the previous wardens. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you knew at that time when you reviewed this that her statement was correct, didn't you?
I guess I wouldn't know.
Well, why not?
I wouldn't know if it was a concern to any previous warden.
But you didn't ask them, did you?
No, I did not.
No, and you didn't put that in here, did you?
No.
Okay. And again, you knew when the fence was, or could have known when the fence was installed because that information was in the security audit, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was in there. I don't recall if it was in there.
Okay. But if it was in there, you should have read that, shouldn't you have?
Well, again, I read portions of it.
Right. It was your duty to have read all of the information relevant to this investigation, wasn't it?
Objection asked and answered. We've gone over this multiple times.
Sustained.
Okay. So now let's go down a little bit further, Judge. Okay, so do you see this paragraph starting? Warden Novak stated that prior to the escape, she knew of concerns about a kitchen staff worker. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we'll just keep going down. It says, the next paragraph says, on April 9th, 2020, CCI leadership, including Warden Novak, met to discuss the kitchen worker and view videos. Novak stated after these meetings, she called DAI Assistant Administrator Douglas Percy to discuss the evidence and if there was enough to put a Zimdahl on administrative leave. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. Did I read that part right?
Yes.
Okay. So she also stated, she was told by Mr. Percy, quote, it's your institution, you make the decision, close quote. Did I read that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is there any statement in here as to what Mr. Percy responds?
Can you restate that?
Sure. Show me in this paragraph, if you can, where you state Mr. Percy's response to that allegation.
I'm going to object. It's a mischaracterization. There's no allegation here against Mr. Percy.
Okay.
I think that's
If
a
that's
matter
what
of
you want, if
opinion.
that's
So
what
let's
you want to
just
object
say
on,
that you-
then I'll say, show me
No,
where this.
stop. So let's just see whatever it's allegation, her statement. Is there anything in this paragraph that would indicate Mr. Percy's response to whether he had spoken to her.
I don't think I'm understanding the question.
So she said, is your institution, you make the decision. That's what she said Mr. Percy said to her. Is there anything in this paragraph that your staff incorporated that would indicate what Mr. Percy said if he was told about this statement and what he said in response?
I'd have to read the rest of the paragraph to answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it doesn't appear in this paragraph.
Okay. So now let's go down to this beige section here. Do you see that?
Yes.
What is the purpose of that section?
This is a section where we, internal affairs, the investigators recommend potential work rules that may have been violated. They identify the work rule and place justification in that area.
And does this help refresh your recollection about what work rules and supporting factual information that you submitted to Director or Administrator Fesai?
So yes and no. Yes, it refreshes my memory. However, I am not sure if this exact wording is what I recommended or not. If this is the final document, this was what was decided upon at IRT. Whether or not it's what I submitted, I don't know for certain.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that you submitted a document that didn't use the word or that it was substantially different from the allegation that Warden Novak failed to inquire about getting the perimeter fence corrected?
I wouldn't say substantially different. There may have been some, changes in wording or incorporation, but I wouldn't say substantially different, but I don't quite know.
Okay. And Judge, if we can just go down a tick or two more to the top of the next page.
Okay, so now we're on page
Great.
184. Go ahead.
Yeah. Warden Novak has multiple sources of information, involving Holly Zimdahl's misconduct prior to the escape. Warden Novak did not place Holly Zimdahl on administrative leave prior to the escape. Did I read that part right?
Yes.
Does that accurately reflect the substance of what you submitted to Administrator Fesahayu?
Again, I don't know if it was exactly what I submitted. It may have been changed throughout the routing process.
Okay. And if you're able to answer my question, I'd appreciate it. My question is this substantially different?
I don't believe it's substantially different, but I don't know exactly what I submitted.
Okay. Now, there's another section under there that's beige that says potential serious misconduct. Do you see that part?
I do, yes.
Okay. What does serious misconduct mean?
So those are specific work rules that are serious and can, if somebody has a serious misconduct, you can skip a level of discipline.
Meaning termination can result, for example, right?
It could, yes.
Okay. And that's in fact what serious means, is that it's so serious that it could lead to termination directly without any other progressive discipline, right?
Yes, it could.
Okay. And the person who's going to make that decision is the Secretary of the Department of Corrections, right?
Yes, most of the time, yes.
Okay. So let's go look at this serious misconduct. And let's be clear, based on your knowledge and understanding as a DOC employee, do you believe that DOC employees understand that if they're accused of serious misconduct, they can be terminated?
I'm going to object to speculation.
Can you say that again, please? I didn't hear it.
Sure. Based on your knowledge and understanding as a Department of Corrections employee, do you believe that Department of Corrections employees understand serious misconduct allegations could result in termination?
Okay, so when this investigation is done, are employees informed of this, what is serious misconduct may end up being?
So prior to going to a predisciplinary meeting, the subject of the investigation is either, well, at this time, I think they were read the summary, and also they were given a notice for the predisciplinary meeting that identifies the work rules that were found to be violated. So yes, if you're a subject, you're aware of it.
Okay.
So the work rules, but do they know the consequence of a work rule such as this one, which could result in the skipping of a progressive discipline to termination?
Sure. I can't answer what they know and what they don't know. I would say that some do and some don't.
Is that available by some kind of handbook or something online?
Yes, absolutely. It's in policy, an executive directive.
Okay, and as someone who did discipline as the warden would have given, would it be likely she would know that?
I would assume that a warden would know this, yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Cross.
Great, and I just want to be clear here because there's this column and it says work rule 3, and then I see work rule 2, but then going down to the serious misconduct, it says 10 agency specific serious misconduct. Do you see that?
I don't know where we are. Can you tell me where?
We're in the right spot. We're in the right spot.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So is 10 agency specific serious misconduct, is that a reference to a work rule?
It is. So these are DOA work rules, but DOC has had to adopt their own kind of version of work rules just due to the difference that we have in terms of other state agencies. So this is just one of those DOC specific work rules.
Okay. And based on your knowledge and experience, a DOC employee who's being charged with this work, with such work rules, are going to be notified of both I guess in this case, work rule 1, work rule 2, but also work rule 10, right?
Yeah, I don't believe work rule 1 was part of this investigation. I believe it was 3, 2, and then the serious misconduct.
I appreciate that, but again, I'm going to be clear. That's communicated to the employee.
It is.
Okay, and that would have been communicated to Sue Novak?
Yeah, it would have been communicated to her in her predisciplinary notice.
Okay. And do you understand what the term resignation in lieu of termination means?
I do.
Okay, what is, based on your knowledge and understanding at the Department of Corrections, what does that term mean?
Oh, that term means that they were going to be terminated, but they resigned as opposed to being terminated.
Okay, and is there some benefit to an employee to resigning as opposed to being terminated?
That I don't know.
Was there? How about benefits? Do you believe that there's any benefit to retirement or retirement benefit change that would happen if somebody is terminated as opposed to resign?
Yes, there certainly could be.
Okay, you know that, right?
I don't know specifically what they are.
Have you ever communicated that to employees who are being investigated?
No.
Have you ever directed that to be communicated to employees who are being investigated?
No.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge of any lockdowns happening at Columbia Correctional Facility in 2019?
No.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge of Warden Novak meeting with Warden Secretary Carr?
No.
Okay. Did you at any time ever report to anybody in either in writing or orally the facts of Mr. Percy's statements about his conversation with Warden Novak prior to the escape?
So I don't know if you consider this a report, but obviously the investigation was submitted with his statement as an exhibit. So if you're considering that a report, then yes, I did.
Okay, but so, and to be clear, that's approximately 3 paragraphs in an 840-page document, right?
That I don't know.
Okay, do you believe that this security packet that you sent is about 840 pages?
I have no idea how many pages it is.
Okay. Do you believe that Makda Fesai reads the entire document?
It is absolutely expected that that as the appointing authority over the case, that it is read. Yes.
Okay. Do you believe the secretary reads the entire document?
No, I don't believe he does read entire documents.
Okay. What is if the appointing authority reads the entire document? What's the point of the summary?
I'm gonna object. We've gone over this.
Go ahead, but we are getting later and later, Mr. Cross, unless there's a
I
real
know I'm 7
confusion.
minutes over. I get it. That's my last question. I just hate to say that out loud.
Are you asking the question again?
Do you need me to answer the question again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that I was supposed to answer that.
Sure. If the administrator is assumed to read the entire 840-page packet, what is the purpose of the summary?
Well, not everyone reads the entire packet, but the person making a decision should be reading it. So I think it's for other folks who don't read the entire packet.
Okay, and based on your conversations with the administrator in the IRT meeting, did you believe that she read the entire packet?
I don't recall specific conversations during that meeting, but I have no reason to believe that she didn't.
Well, she didn't bring up the fence, the fact about the fence being predating the wardens, right?
Again, I don't recall the specific conversation during that meeting.
No. Okay. Thank you very much. I have no more questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Mullenbach, I'm going to stop sharing. Mr. Mullenbach, are you expecting to ask any questions of Ms. Preston at this time?
Judge, if we could take, I really need a break.
Well, we are going to take a break. I would just want to know if I should tell her she's coming back.
And I hate to do this to her. Yes, I do intend to ask some questions, but I really need a break right now. So if we could just take a break for a while and then come back and I can finish up. I don't think it'll take very long, but you know, I would really like a break at this point.
We all need a break. So it's 12:39. Is 1:30 good enough for everybody?
Yep.
Mr. Cross?
Sure.
Okay, so Ms. Preston, you are going to be allowed to, leave just turn off your video and mute yourself. But at this point, we are going to consider you still being on the witness stand, so you shouldn't be talking about your testimony. We want your testimony not influenced by somebody else, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so come back at 1:30.
Great.
All right, thanks, and then let's stop the recording.